Lovely and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, Argentina versus South Africa, a very important game for both sides, I guess. From an Argentinian perspective, pretty much as full strength as they can go. Still missing a couple of players due to injury and stuff like that. But Michael Cheika looking for momentum. He's looking for that another big result. They beat Australia in Australia, which is a pretty big result. But I think a lot of people are sort of sweeping under the carpet a bit because of how poor Australia have been. And there was a good performance last weekend against South Africa from Argentina, but they didn't get the result. So at home, for example, against a very rotated Springboks side, 30 change to the starting lineup there. Michael Cheika, I think, will be looking for a result. For the Boks, it's interesting, but I kind of feel that they're out to prove a lot of doubt was wrong this weekend. There's a lot of negativity surrounding the Springboks at the moment and about the coach, a lot of pressure growing. Because not necessarily just of the results, but of the performances of the last two games. 1-1, lost one, but really sort of threw away what was at one stage looking quite a good lead against Argentina, and Argentina actually coming back to almost give us a bit of a shock. I don't think the Boks were ever really at risk of losing the game last weekend, but certainly didn't play well enough to justify it being labeled as a really good game, for example. They actually were pretty poor. And this weekend is a big opportunity for them for certain players who are under a bit of pressure to show that they still have what it takes and are in decent form and are good enough to warrant selection in the World Cup. And I think also as a team, as a coaching staff, to show that they can bounce back, they can respond, and they can play at the level that they want to be able to play when they need to. So it's going to be an interesting game. Before we look at the two teams, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the home side, which is Argentina. Not too many changes, but a couple of nice ones for them, a couple of injury-replaced ones. So the front row is the same front row. Thomas Gallo, Julian Montoya, and Francisco Gomez Cadella. They'll be up against Trevor Nyakane, Bongi Imbanambi, and Thomas Toy. So very keen to see how they sort of go there. In the second row, they've had to make another change because Lucas Palos got a concussion last week and he's had to drop out. As a result, Pedro Rubial gets an opportunity this weekend. Thomas Lavanini is ever present, really, in the number 5 jersey. It's the same loose trio that we've seen for most of the Rugby Championship. That is Pablo Matera, Santiago Grandona, and John Martin Gonzalez. And very exciting loose trio. All three quality players. Pablo Matera is world class. We all know all about him. John Martin Gonzalez, a young up-and-coming player. Gonzalo Bertrand returns to the starting lineup. For me, he is their best number 9. So I think that's a good decision to have him back in the lineup. And he partners Santiago Carreras, who continues to go at 10. Big sort of change. Santiago Cordero is back into the side. He replaces Juan Imhoff in the number 11 jersey, quality finisher. We all kind of know what Cordero can do, and you don't give him an inch. In the centre, Santiago Cochacabares and Lucio Asenti will continue. Emiliano Baffelli returns to the side. He will start at wing. A lot of people thought that he'd be at full back, but with the suspension to Jean Cruz Mallier, they've actually decided to include Martin Pogaro at fullback, and instead of a lot of people thought that instead of going Baffelli at fullback, which is an interesting decision. Then off the bench, a huge moment. The first Argentinian player ever to play 100 games for their country, Augustin Creevy, will cross that mark when he comes off the bench tomorrow, which is going to be a huge occasion for him. Joel Slavi is going to be the loose head cover this weekend, was tied to cover last week. Eduardo Bello comes back into the side. Then Guido Petty is back onto the bench. Facundo Isla, then Lautaro Bazan Velez drops down to the bench. Thomas Albanese will continue to deputise for Carreras, and Matthias Moroni will provide the cover there. As we mentioned, 13 changes to the Boks starting lineup, and lots of players who you can go and make a point this weekend. Trevor Nyakane starts at loose head, and Thomas Toy at tight head. That in itself is quite an interesting selection. Bongi Manambi is captaining the side for the first time ever, and he'll be starting in a hooker there. Big opportunity for the likes of Trevor Nyakane, who I think 2 years ago was one of the best props in the world, or one of the most performed props in the world, and has not really played much this year. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Jean Klein has another opportunity to try and press the number 4 jersey. Marvin Norrie gets more game time, number 5, due to the sickness of Lurt Diaga. Dion Freed, Franklin Moster, Jasper Wiese in the loose trio. All 3 players pushing for World Cup spots. Maybe sort of just Dion Freed, the only one who's not guaranteed it as of yet. Kobus Reinach will partner Mon Liebach in the halfback pairing. The halfback pairing that did do very well against Australia is back. Marcus Zulema Pimpi will get some more game time in the 11. Kanan Moody gets an opportunity at 14. Andre Esterhuizen has partners with Kanya and he'll be looking to try and knock that door down as well to get into the World Cup squad. And then Damien Willemse will get some much needed starting minutes in that 15 jersey. Off the bench, Joseph Dweber, Gerard Steenkamp, Vincent Koch will cover the front row. Jean-Luc Dupré gets an opportunity. Evan Rust and will also get some game time. Herschel Yankees then will get his first opportunity of the year. Jesse Creel, Kirkley Arons the other two players, and what is a 5-3 split. No bomb squad this weekend, 5-3 split. Very interesting to know Jaden Hendricks. But yeah, this team is a good team on paper. It's going to be a very emotional occasion for Argentina, given the fact that Krevi is getting to that milestone. So what I think you need to do is we've got to start well. I think they'll be up for it. They'll be inspired. They'll be pumped. If they score any sort of early points and get some early momentum, it could be a long day at the office. So I think the Boks need to start well, which we historically or recently haven't always. And if we can get that solid start, we can sort of try and sort of really sort of knock the wind out of their sails nice and early, and then kind of just sort of build on that throughout the rest of the game. Let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.